Hello and welcome to the DCRA Championship live on Apex Racing TV. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick, and alongside me is Marco Barbonet. We're here for today's action of a 30-minute race. Marco, we're here in the GT4 cars at Sebring. Should be a very fun combination.
Absolutely, it will be a great one. Welcome Sam, welcome everyone. Penultimate round of this short but very intense championship, and we are here live from beautiful Sebring International Raceway as the drivers are tackling this very tough racetrack for their customary 10 minutes of qualifying a season so far very short that has been dominated by this guy, Austin Henry. Absolutely fantastic so far, with dominant wins at Barber and at Virginia International Raceway, looking to make it 3 in a row here in Sebring, and of course that will more than likely give him basically the championship in the bag before the final round, or very close to that before the final round in Road Atlanta, where we will finish the season on Tuesday. Very nice racetrack indeed, this one. Of course, a track that I love. Have a fond, the total opposite compared to Virginia. That's a special place in my heart. And as per tradition of this championship, as you can see, we are frozen in time. It's 8:15 in the morning, 67 Fahrenheit temperature on the tarmac right now, and these conditions will remain the same all throughout the event. But before we go deep into the broadcast, Sam, let me take just a moment to wish a very happy birthday to my brother, who turns 26 today. It's already the 5th of April here in Italy, and so happy birthday to him, and hopefully he's enjoying, well, from what I'm hearing, he's enjoying his birthday a lot. So Sam, welcome to this series. For you it's the first time, and yeah, you are in for a treat, yeah, great racing. And of course, the crown jewel of this championship, apart from the great racing, the demolition derby at the end. But before that, the racing is very serious and very exciting.
Absolutely. And by the way, to everyone who's tuning in, the only reason why Marco is excited about his brother's birthday is because there has been a cake which has been baked by his mother, who apparently does very good cakes. So Marco is a big one. I'm not sure if he's currently tucking into a cake as we do this commentary, but no doubt he will tuck into one over the next 24 hours or so. So very much lucky him. First pole position, first time it's been put in provisional pole goes to Trevor Andrusko. Richard edged a little bit a while back, 1.6 seconds, 2 minute 12. These drivers said to remember these cars are significantly slower than the GT3 cars, a little bit slower than the GT4 cars, apologies, than the Porsche Cup cars, and only slightly faster than the TCR cars, which these drivers are quite used to racing against, of course, in the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge. But well, I'm sure will be very happy just to have the track to themselves. And currently, Trevor Andrusko, by far the top driver, and Clifton Lipple can't get close. Still, Austin Henry yet to put in a lap time. His first lap time was invalidated. These drivers do have this 10-minute session, and they can complete their lap time as well, I believe, after the timer has ticked down. So as long as they start the lap time, they can complete it within the 10 minutes, as we see if anyone else can improve. But that is quite a gauntlet put down by Andrusko straight away. A little bit of a quandary for me, Marco. What do the colours on the overlay represent?
They represent absolutely nothing. They are just the racing
Nice one. All right.
color of the car, which I just keep there because it's a nice color. But apart from that, as you can see from the license table here, and of course this is incomplete because we have quite a big number of cars, 18 cars. I think this is the best attended round, bar from the first one. Many of these drivers are rookies. They basically jumped into a racing because of the lockdown, and they are using this fantastic platform to get their fix of racing. when waiting for their home track aboard Atlanta to open again, hopefully very very soon. And so hopefully most of them will stick around. This guy here, who's dominating the championship, Austin Henry, has got 609 rating. You know,
I
I've
mean,
got.
that's remarkable. It's gone down then. It's because you start off with about 1,300.
He's a
So
D-class driver, so I think he's been signed up for a bit more than the customary rookie, rookies. But I mean, there is hope for me that I've got 700 and something A rating, and I mean, I maybe one day I will be as fast as him with the. But I think that if he keeps on racing on iRacing, he's going to have a much higher I rating in no time, especially if he does a bit of officials.
yeah, I think so. All these drivers, I think, are probably at least over 1,000. I think probably upwards of about 3,000 iRacing they can certainly get themselves up to. Of course, this GT4 car, personally, really liked since it's come out. It's a very drivable car. The fact that it's got ABS is absolutely mind-boggling. The fact that you can just put as much braking power as we want and it just stops is like remarkable. Which, considering that I usually drive the Porsche Cup car, is it's insane. Like the brakes work and everything. And then through the corners as well, you can really get the power on early and it just grips. It's almost like a almost strange with the amount of downforce that you get, where you just gotta load up the tires and it will stick. You just gotta have confidence in it. So it is a fantastic car, this, and of course the new tire model as well, going to make it a little bit slippery off the circuit, but still, it should be very good fun for these drivers. Still, Austin Henry has not put in a lap
Mhm.
time, and this is getting a little bit close now to when you do actually need to put in a lap time. Otherwise, you're not going to do very well. This is Henry, I believe, just
Yes.
ahead of the 16 car of Till is swearing in. Goes up into fourth place. So nice lap there from Kurt. 2 minute 13 laps time there. And of course, with such a long lap that we have here, especially compared to Road Atlanta that we're visiting next week, there's a few less opportunities for you to put in a lap time. But like I said earlier on, once you start your lap, you can finish it. So right now, this will be a one more lap time for Austin Henry to put in. You can see no purple sectors at the moment, and the driver who has dominated this series so far, maybe pole position is in question as he goes up to third place. 2/10 of a second off
Ooh.
pole as Till goes to the top of the standings. That is a mighty time from RJ Till. And that is a terrific time, which I doubt will be beaten with just a few seconds to go.
Just to say hello to everyone in the chat. First of all, to the Chattanooga Tourenwagen Meisterschaft that says to refer to RJ Till as um, Austin's sidekick. And I mean, no disrespect to RJ, but he has been so far. But not today, apparently. He's really putting on a show. And to say hello also to Kurt Freeman. The bars on the bottom of the screen are the times of the driver in this lap compared to uh, the overall time or his personal lap time. For example, if we take a normal lap, yellow bars, that sector the driver didn't improve. Green bar, the driver improved on his personal best. Purple is improving on the pole position lap time. So I mean, if it's green and purple, it's looking really really good. David Smith coming home is sitting in P18. 19 cars signed up for the race. He is without a valid lap time so far. Looking good for Kurt Swearingen following behind him. So let's see where David is going to put his car in. David Smith will be an invalidated lap time. Kurt Swearingen does not improve, but look at Austin Henry.
Ho ho, wow. Well, we were doubting him before. I think we had reason to doubt him. The checker flag is out. I'm not quite sure why it stayed on 9 minutes 59, but
Yeah,
this will be it for these drivers. Henry, not a personal best, sector 6 for him. One more sector to go. It did have to go offline going into sunset, however. This is looking very good for pole position as long as he has kept it within the confines of the circuit, not picked up a 1x. Austin Henry, championship leader, goes to the top of the standings, half a second clear in the end. And he was just building up to that. Couple of invalidated lap times initially, but got faster and faster. Clifton Lipple trying to improve as well, but that slide coming out of Sunset isn't going to help him. And despite a well, actually does improve a little bit, does Liverpool, but not enough to gain any places. Ryan Hardwick also coming up to the line. I used to have
Look
a
at this
music
car.
teacher called Mr. Hardwick. That is totally unrelated. He wasn't a very good teacher. He lines up in 12th place then, does Brian. As I think that's pretty much everyone across the line. So we can go through. Is it a rolling start in this series, Marco?
Depends on the. It's a surprise. We had both rolling and standing starts. It's going
Oh,
to be a standing
standing.
start this time.
Okie doke, so we'll get through this nice and quick. Austin Henry on pole position, RJ Till in second. That's Trevor Andrusko, Seth Thomas, Clifton Lipple, Tyler Hoffman, Kurt Swearingen, David Madden, Richard Edge, and Matthew Thill rounding out the top 10. That's Kurt Hunt, Ryan Hardwick, Chauffeur Everett, Jason Owens, Dimitri Kellner, Daniel Vallejo, Adam Sekilo, Lin Tran, and David Smith. The only driver yet to get onto the grid is the driver in pole position. It's Austin Henry. What is he doing? First on the grid, last on the grid, but he is on the grid now, and we are about to get underway for this half an hour race at Sebring. And we are away in the DCRA Championship. Henry with a decent start. However, Till is going to really challenge him going into turn one. Going to be a very tight entry for the pole sitter. And there might just be an opportunity for the second place man to go rounds outside. Now trying to get the cutback. Is there going to be a change for Lee? And we've got the number 8 car spinning off in the middle of the circuit. And we've got a few drivers off as well, but not too much damage being caused. Henry hung on to first position with Till in seconds. Thomas gets ahead of Andrusko. Good start for Richard Edge. He's gone from 9th to 6th. However, we've got Madden, Hunt, and Kellner all dropping down the order straight away.
The cold tires really have been one of the recurring theme for these drivers all season long, especially in the first lap, of course. As we have Andrusko here, Seth Thomas, Hardwick is in his beautiful course light car is going wide, and Jason Owens also in his Wolfpack car is going wide as well. Great fights all over the field. Hoffman and Thomas are side by side for P4.
So Thomas originally got up to 3rd place, I believe, but then dropped back behind Andrusko. Hoffman trying to take advantage of that as well, but he hasn't quite got past at the moment. Off the circuit is Jason Owens. He was up a few places. He was up into the top 10, I believe, was Owens. But he's you can see him on the timing tower dropping down to 16th place. So he might yet fall down a little bit further as well with Kurt Hunt now on his tail. Hoffman, though, he certainly smells blood right now. And a little bit offline for the driver just ahead. Really tricky to pick your line through this part of the circuit, and now having to go defensive as well with the threat of Edge trying to get past him. Often taking a very tight line. That's just relieved the pressure of Thomas for a moment. Great start as well for Adam Seculo. He is up 8 places, up into 9th right now, but Henry gets him through the first lap unscathed, and he's already built himself a nice advantage.
Nice first lap as Henry, Till, Andrusko, your top 3. Matthew Thill here as Richard Edge is heading for the pits, either a jump start penalty or some damage. I guess a jump start because car seems to be okay.
Yeah, you might get a replay of that in a bit. See if it was a jump start, quite easy to do. And Marco very much on the... Oh, it looked fine, didn't it?
Look at the flagman there. Yeah. Wow, if it was a jump start, it was a question of inches.
He's stationary as well, taking tyres, which is strange, seeing that they're only 1 lap old. Maybe an accident there. Meanwhile, Lipple and Seculo. So Lipple getting past Seculo. I believe that. So they both just gained a place, but now Liverpool getting past Adam. Clifton down 3 places from his start. He was involved in some of that shenanigans down at turn 1. And then, of course, we also saw a little bit of issues down at the right-handed hairpin as well. But most drivers have got away from that unscathed. 18 drivers still without coming into the pits. Richard Edge, the only driver to come into the pits, and he was one of the few who wasn't involved in one of those collisions. So still everyone getting on quite well.
By the way, this livery by Clifton Liverpool, you can find it on Trading Paints, is done by a guy you know very, very well. We know very well, Phil Regan of Year One Racing. There is also his name on the front of the car. And the word is very, very small because I was during the first round. I saw that car. I said, "Oh, that name, Phil Regan. I know that guy." And also, this beautiful livery here has been made by Austin Knight, and as you can see, of course, the livery is beautiful, but you know, since it's made by Austin, you go a bit slower than usual with it. Too much paint, as you can see. All these colors.
Yeah, isn't it like matte paint is slightly lighter, isn't it, than glossy paint? Don't know if iRacing have quite taken that into account yet. Probably not, which is good to see. So we get a few more variants of paints. Hoffman now trying to get past Thomas, so try and move up into 4th place. He still can't get past though. Thomas is putting up a good fight. However, he's gone off into into Georgia, it seems, right there, and leaves a very wide berth, and Hoffman is up into 4th place. So a couple of places gained for Tyler already in the race, as Hardwick now gets past Sekilo. So Sekilo, after that phenomenal start, it was always going to be tricky to back up that start. He is starting to fall down the order, but he has got a bit of a gap to the next driver. Oh dear, that is, and that's a double contact as well. Almost flipping round. Tran and Vallejo. And it was Vallejo, I believe, losing the car just on the grass on the entry and spinning into his rival. Then I think tried to get out of the way. It didn't hold the brakes and made contact again.
I've noticed that this car is very resistant. My theory is that every time we have a new car on iRacing, in the first season they make it more resistant than... that's a very conspiracy theory kind of thought from me. But I've seen some massive hits in this championship, especially at Barber, and the cars seem to be very, very tough. One thing that is not tough, and they also improved I was reading in a release note, but they seem to be I mean, if this is more resistant, is the mirrors, because iRacing made a patch to make them more resistant, and they still fly away like it's nothing. So
it's always satisfying though when you lose a mirror. I think it's always very clean when you just lose a mirror or something. I'm yet to drive and lose a mirror. I can imagine in a 24-hour race that would be quite terrifying if you're the slowest class. It is the 187 car of Daniel Vallejo. Oh no, what was that? The number 10
that was
coming
Kellner.
in behind as well. Well, what's Nella doing here? Oh, well, he's lost it just accidentally. I mean,
Yeah.
I thought it's like a bit of a joke, but he's literally just lost it the exact same way. And I think you usually see that happen to much. Vallejo, unfortunately, out of the race. It seems he was, or at least trying back to the pits, he was very much stuck in those tyre barriers. Someone asking, why did Edge pit? We don't know. You tell us, because
I'm
he
guessing.
was...
I mean, if it, I think Sam, it was a very, very, very marginal jump start. I cannot think of any. Or I mean, this is fixed setup, so I'm not. Can't be that he put too little fuel, as we have some argy-bargy here, and between Thomas and Hoffman. And Hoffman has the worst of it, and Matthew Thiel goes in between the pair of them in his Simcraft sponsored car, and now a very, very brave move there from Thiel on the inside of Thomas. Thomas is not okay with that and moves back into 4th. Another little bit of contact. Hoffman coming back, great racing in this championship.
Well, Thiel nearly gained 2 places out of nowhere. Hoffman had got clear of Thomas. and then lost it back at that hairpin, and now has to do this work all over again. Back where he started is Hoffman, but still, it's having a terrific event after starting in 10th place. It's very tricky to tell who's the fastest out of these. It seems like it is Hoffman who's the fastest, but Thomas has got some good racecraft to him, and still has just been very reliable. You can also just see behind Lipple, who was faster than all of these drivers on the last day. In fact, Lipple was the second fastest driver out on circuit. Guess who the fastest was? It was Austin Henry, of course. 2-minute 12.0, fastest lap of the race. So you can see the pace though of Lipple really only 4/10 of a second slower than the race leader, which is a very good effort. Must say, Thomas's car looks very much like the pace car, doesn't it? Which is
Yes, the old.
surprising me a little bit.
The pace car that is not a pace car anymore, the roof, still 211.994. First driver to break that wall and the fastest lap of the race for RJ. So, but yeah, I mean, these really are, and you know, of course, those are the basic iRacing colors. Is a rookie, 2.44, so he did some races. Um, but yeah, I mean, these are the red and the blue, typical of iRacing, and of course the basic white. Yeah, bit of nostalgia there with the roof RT12 pace car, which we all miss.
We do miss. At least the Mustang still around. Might also start using the truck as well that they've enabled as a
I want
pace
to
car.
drive the truck. Oh dear!
Oh dear, that is Hoffman going into the back of Phil. Oh, well, Phil had done nothing wrong. He was just driving his own race. And Hoffman already involved in something and just missing his braking points. And those brakes are good. Like I said earlier on, they're not that good. And spinning round his row. I wanted just waiting as well for Phil to re-overtake him. He was a long way back, but it's always tricky when you're the third driver in a line. And Datsy still in that situation would have been early on the brakes because you want to be early on the brakes than the driver ahead, and really just did catch out the driver behind on that occasion. So that is a little bit of a shame there for Hoffman.
Yeah, but you see these cars, I mean, holding on very nicely. I was expecting some more. You see, the cars are not that destroyed, which I'm shocked to be honest, because especially with the new damage model. For example, the man, I mean, okay, the F3, different story, but that car, you like on it, and the car explodes. You know?
Very true. I was thinking before, as Phil moves back past Everett, be a very good car to drive for the Nürburgring 24 Hours, which is coming up. However, of course, the Nürburgring 24 Hours will have the old damage model for all the cars, saying that the GT3 cars and the Porsche Cup cars still have the old damage model. Unfortunately, that'll mean that the TCR and the GT4 cars will have the old damage model as well, which is a little bit of a shame. Of course, if you're taking part in the end,
Oh
oh dear,
no!
that is a big crash into the wall, and just about missing as well. Car number 6, Adam Seculo, had such a terrific start, and now, oh, how's that happened? Managing to launch on one another, and also Hunt involved in that one, Kurt's Hunt.
See the replay. There we go. Wow,
Came
unfortunate
across, I think,
contact.
did Hunt.
Yeah, on the straight, and then of course trying to get back into the proper racing line. I just was just trying to show you, the good folks watching at home, that little by little Till is 3.5 seconds behind, and we are almost at the halfway mark. But he's having some very good lap times. Is RJ Till.
I mean,
Again,
look at that consistency, though, from Henry. I mean,
yeah.
2 minutes 12.0 for 3 consecutive. That's 3 laps within half a tenth of one another. That's impressive.
Hoffman going into the daisies. Let's see what happened to him. He was going very slowly when he came into the braking area. Here, of course, a part of the club circuit, and then he went straight. And now he stopped.
wonder if he's trying to let someone pass. He collided earlier on. Well, he collided with Phil earlier on. Oh, there's him colliding with the
Everett.
33 car now up top, Topa Everett.
Another lap in the
Strange
books.
race for Hoffman. You could have really got a fourth place out of this, but it's quite distance from that now. Let's look at Henry. I was complimenting his consistency, but if you can produce an 11.6, and that's going to work out for you as well. RJ Till, another good time, breaking the 2-minute 12 barrier, but no match to that pace. 2.7 seconds the gap.
Yeah, this lap was absolutely fantastic from Austin, and once again, look at that, 3/10. Basically, he gained back everything he lost in lap 4 and lap 5, and of course with the added bonus of having the fastest lap of the race on top of that. So again, like you were saying, RJ Till is not going slow by any stretch of the imagination, but this lap from Henry was absolutely fantastic, and they are both pulling away from Andruska. Andruska, who's got the fastest sector 1 of the race, by the way, in the last lap. So Henry got the fastest second sector of the race, and Till got the fastest sixth sector of the race. This is one of those older racetracks. Now racing tends to have only 3 sectors, even in the bigger tracks, like for example Barcelona, you know, that they are producing right now. But this is one of the older scans of iRacing, and therefore we have a truckload of sectors, 7 to be precise, which, as you can imagine, makes our lives a little bit more complicated because, you know, it's... where is Sector 7? I mean, yes, of course, we have the track map, and each of those little red dots is the beginning or the end of a sector, but, you know, it's in our F1 based heads, it's tough to think of a track with more than 3 sectors. I don't know if MotoGP still does do the 4th sector per track, which
I think they do.
I always found very confusing.
I mean, really, the amount of sectors should change depending on the circuit, shouldn't it? Depending on kind of the type of track it is. I mean, when you got some circuits, like a lot of Tilka circuits, where you got maybe a sector where you got a long straight, a sector where you got some fast corners, and a sector where you got some slow corners. That's how it should be divided. Madden now moves past Everett, who was a long way off the circuit. Madden was off the circuit himself, but it is so slippery out off the track with this new tire model that iRacing has introduced in recent months. Because this very new car only released in the last build, I believe. But yeah, Barcelona is really refreshing to see only 3 sectors, and around this place, if you had like a sector, I reckon coming out of this corner, going under the bridge, you had a sector there, and then I'd say a sector coming out of, is it Le Mans? Basically coming onto the back straight. That would be the second sector, from here to the back straight. And then the last sector, the rest of it. I think that would be a good dividing line. It
Would be
kind
a
of distinguish the different
very
parts of
big
the
second
track.
sector compared to the rest.
It would. But I say, as Everett's again involved in something, he's now being overtaken by Jason Owens. And Kurt Hunt as well is just behind. But I'd say that distinguishes the track into 3 parts, which are kind of quite similar in terms of the corners in each one. Here is the 38 car of Thomas, who is still in 4th place despite this mistake.
A little bit of a ride in the grass there, sorry, in the dirt more than the grass, as again now it's Hunt trying to have the best of... oh, but Owens went wide in front of them and dropping positions to both. Where is he? There he is. So they both gain 1 spot, but Hunt is looking very, very racy and wanting to get past Everett. Oh, needs to be very, very careful there. Also, we have Hardwick and Lipple going at it, with Hardwick just getting past him, but this fight absolutely fantastic, side by side. Ant has the outside, which is not usually the best place to go, but it worked for him this time. So let's see what happened to Owens, who was just in front of these guys, as you can see. Straight on. and that ice skating rink called grass in iRacing. At the same time, while we were watching, Hardwick went past Kurt Swearingen. I think Swearingen made a mistake, and the Silver Bullet course light car made easy work of the white and green number 17 of Swearingen.
So easy to go off the circuit through that right hander, which I think Everett went off the track at. Sorry, was it Hardwick who went off the circuit there?
Swearingen, the green car.
Right, swearing in. Yep, went off the track. Because it's always surprising how much speed you can carry through there. I mean, it's a 90-degree corner. You can't think that you're going to have to brake quite a bit for it and then turn and then get on the pad. You can kind of do all three simultaneously, that corner. It's quite almost like a fast sweeper. And then all of a sudden you kind of brake 10 meters too late and it turns into a much tighter corner than maybe what you expected. So a very simple mistake. That's Austin Henry hasn't been making any of those mistakes so far. The gap's up to nearly 5 seconds after being caught for a few laps in repetition. He's been able to improve on his lap time since then in the mid-11s as the tyres really get into their peak performance. Take a while for them to warm up, even on a decent track temperature like this. Here is swaying in. Nice dummy there from him to get past Hardwick. Looks to the outside, goes to the inside, and goes into 6th place. So swaying in, although he's going to be under pressure. Back again, good defense from Hardwick and good space being left there by swaying in. Just leaving a car's width on the inside of the track, avoided damage, and can now pull away. He's, however, got 13 seconds to catch up to Clifton Lipple.
Hardwick flashing his headlights. As you can see, Clifton Lipple coming back at Seth Thomas as we have an issue for David Madden. I think he made a mistake entering the Le Mans section. Clipping the grass,
Ooh.
yeah.
Don't usually see that one, to be honest, too much. Usually you can't see drivers oversteer late on in that corner. But yeah, just trying to open up the corner as much as possible. Went a little bit too far that time. Austin Henry, well, that's pretty much as ragged as we'll see him drive, I think, today. And the gap has come down a little bit, although he did set the fast of the race on that last tour. Has lost a bit of time on this lap, though. Here's Clifton Lipple, then. He has been on a real charge after a tricky start for Lipple. But I think potentially even outside the top 10. Caught up to Thomas now. And Andruska as well could be within sight. Lipple, the second fastest driver out on circuit on that last lap. So he really is setting in some nice lap times. Where is he going to get this move done, Marco?
Well, I think the best place to pass we have seen, apart from Sunset Bend, could be entering the Le Mans section. We already seen a couple of moves there, both on the inside, which is usually the preferred line, and the outside. He's not very close right now, but I think Clifton can get a good run in here. He could really, I mean, he's so quick. Oh, by the way, I think that Austin Henry is trying to go for a 210. That's why he was pushing so hard. Much smoother line for Clifton, and here you can go very wide. He's using all of the track and then some. Is Clifton, and beautiful exit here. This is a good chance.
Yeah, looks good for him. Deep in the slipstream. Very much need some cooperation with your rival going into Sunset Bend with the concrete wall on the inside. They both leave plenty of room. Thomas very wide, however, that might turn into a better line. Lipple's got to be careful he doesn't turn into the wall there. Now Thomas actually with the better exit. Lipple will duck back into the slipstream as we move on to lap 11 of this race. 7.5 minutes to go, and Lipple wants to catch up to Andruska as well, which is pretty far away now. 5 seconds to catch up. I think that is maybe an ordeal too far. But if he's got any chance of that, or any chance of putting some pressure, at least on the P3 man, he's got to get past straight away. But just dropping back a little bit further around this part of the track. Meanwhile, this battle is forming up once again. Kurt Hunt, Jason Owens in 11th place. with Everett in 12th and Hoffman in 13th. Hoffman fighting for people early on into the wall, and both into the wall now. Everett hit the wall first, and Hoffman didn't have too much else to go. Here was Everett, probably just getting on the throttle too early. In fact, actually following the same tracks as the driver ahead, and just did not have the grip, and smashing into him as well was Owens as well.
Yeah, unfortunate there. I mean, poor Hoffman. He has been hit left and right and center tonight. Certainly not his best race, even though he gave us plenty of entertainment. Heading into this final 6 minutes and change of the race here from Sebring International. Leading the way, Austin Henry has been dominating. RJ Till is keeping him honest with some great lap times, but Austin seems to be one step ahead of him. Andrusko in third, you can see him here. Very calm and collected race. Started third, he is third. And then this fantastic fight, which I think we'll have to follow until the end, between Lippel and Seth Thomas for fourth place. And I think Thomas is a bit quicker, but at the same time, Lippel has the experience on his side. He's an A-class driver, so he has been on a racing for a bit, whilst Seth is a rookie. So I think Seth is not willing to take too many risks, doesn't want to ruin the race for everyone. I think he had a run last lap, 2 laps ago, sorry, at Sunset. Oh man, he's going very wide. This was the commentator's curse of commentator's curses, unfortunately. Sorry, Seth. But yeah, I mean, I think he had a chance 2 laps ago at Sunset Bend when he took that very tight line on the inside to give plenty of space to Clifton, I would imagine. Otherwise, I think he had a very good run coming out of the Le Mans section onto the Allman straight to make the move. That was not the case. Sam, I wanted to ask you something before we head into the final, because I think this is a new record for you. Have you ever done a broadcast this late? To everyone following us, Austin Knight has had a last minute, was busy last minute, so we had to draft Sam Fitzpatrick straight from his bed. And unlike me, he's citizen of this time zone. I wanted to say Europe, but then Brexit, that likes to sleep at this time of day. And so we basically sent our man to pick him up from his bed and put him in front of the computer. And it's amazing how quickly he woke up in the 5 minutes before the race from, it's I don't know what he put in his tea, but he came in a different person. But Sam, I think you have never had a broadcast this late.
I don't think I have. The only thing that I can compare it to is when I used to do an IMSA sports car series. A couple of years ago, I think it was now, where I drive the C7 Daytona prototype, the best car in iRacing. Undoubtedly, anyone who's driven that machine will agree with me on that front. And would always have to wake up for the 145 IMSA splits. I won that championship. It was all worth it. Also, met my good friend Michael Abdotka on that as well, and a few others as well. So that was good fun. One of 2 championships that I've ever won on sim racing. So I will certainly take that. But in terms of broadcast, yeah, not anything like this in the past. But no, it's been a good race. Certainly worth waking up for. Haven't opened my eyes for this entire time. I am half asleep still. However, my ears have enjoyed it. 4 seconds between the top 2. And Henry is... these two have been so evenly matched. I feel bad for RJ Till, to be honest, because, well, if this has been the story of the season so far, it's not a long way off Henry. Probably 0.2 of a second behind, but to make up those 0.2 of a second is so tricky. You've got to nail every single lap just to maintain the gap. And really just hope that the driver ahead makes a mistake. This is going to be the penultimate lap. We're going to get one more after this one. A little bit late to say this, but you can check out the live timing link in the description below. And you can click on that, and you can see the intervals between each of the drivers, their last lap time, their best lap time, Seeing that we've only got a lap and a bit to go, probably a little bit late for that, but at the moment, our time screens are all white, which indicates that there are a few battles going on. So everyone's kind of sorted themselves out after that chaotic first lap or so, where a lot of drivers found themselves out of position. It's kind of resoluted itself as the last 28 minutes have gone by.
So they are saying that we need to call, sorry, in the chat they were saying that Austin is Superman. So if Austin is the Superman and Austin Aries Superman, RJ Till is the sidekick, this reminds me of something. Sadly, our viewers will not understand what I'm talking.
They won't understand, no. I don't know if you can. Oh dear. Well, that Owens went off there earlier on as well. He doesn't like that corner. However, he hasn't lost a place due to it. He's still in 11th place, but Everett much closer than he was previously.
Last lap of the race for the race leader and for everyone else for that matter. Starting right now. Lost a couple of tenths there, but nothing major as Kurt Swearingen has disappeared.
Oh no.
Just on the beginning of the last lap, and he has not reappeared. To keep an eye on that, this would be very cruel. Also, something we need to keep an eye out is Austin Henry, because he was so eager to start the Demolition Derby last time out that he actually got disqualified, drove backwards, and he still kept his race victory. But, gotta be careful. And Matthew Thiel, all of a sudden putting pressure on Hardwick, and unfortunately Kurt Swearingen is not reappearing. This is massively disappointing. On the outside is Matthew. Let's see if he can find a move.
Just going to get the cut back. Quite as early on the power as he would have hoped, and he's running out of corners to get this one done. I am keeping an eye out if we get a disconnect sign for Swearingen, but so far nothing has popped up. I wouldn't be surprised if he has just lost connection due to an external issue. Still, as Swearingen now, received through pitfall to an unacceptable level, so his connection has broken. No connection issues though for Austin Henry. This has been a perfect drive from him. Had to wait late on in qualifying to set the fastest lap, but he got pole position. He got into turn 1 in the lead, and ever since then it has been plain sailing. Championship leader Austin Henry wins here at Sebring. It's really close though for 6th place. Still, has he got past Hardwick? Yes, he has. And a late overtake from Thill. Could have been 4th place, maybe even 3rd place for Thill if it weren't for an incident earlier on in the race. However, he has recovered very well since then. RJ Till finishes in 2nd place. Trevor Andrusko in 3rd. And Hardwick, after looking like he was going to finish in 6th place, looks like he's going to finish a distant 7th now, as he's been involved in a spin through the Le Mans complex.
Drivers coming home now. Thomas is there, waiting for Phil. As you can see, Henry is waiting for everyone to cross the start-finish line before starting the festivities. Here comes Hardwick. Then, fighting hard, maybe pushing a bit too hard. And going around. Here comes Madden, Hunt. Jason Owens is also coming. I think the guys have already started.
The best bits of the race. See if we can rip a door off. I don't think iRacing can quite model that, but I'm sure they will test the limits of this damage model. It is remarkable how on iRacing, and maybe these guys don't quite understand this quite as much, saying that they are quite new to iRacing.
Oh!
But the satisfaction that you get from doing what Jason Owen has just done there, just absolutely wiping people out. And that's what the AI is for. It's not for anything else rather than just doing this. And these guys get to do it themselves. And they can, afterwards, hopefully when they get to meet one another back in a few months' time, they can talk about it as well, which is absolutely super. Dimitri Nello completely missing the party there, but no, whoever survives out of this will do a good job. What can Richard Edge do? He is very much a bowling ball with a few pins in sight.
Oh!
There he goes. Oh, wow, on the roof.
And now things are getting out of hand, but congratulations to Austin Henry as the festivities are going on, as you can see. Drivers enjoying themselves. They have had a great race, of course, great fun. Sadly, only one more of these left, as we enjoy the carnage here from Sebring International Raceway. I have to tell you, at Virginia was even better because they had basically, vast prairies all around the racetrack where they could
Of
basically
course.
run for miles uninterrupted. But in any case, fantastic showing once again. And on this image of pure and unbridled joy by these drivers, we will go through the race results for this event. And here we go.
Yes, and it's Austin Henry who wins out by 3.4 seconds ahead of RJ Till. Trevor Andrusko rounding out the podium. Clifton Lippel finishes in fourth with Matthew Thill in fifth. Ryan Hardwick in sixth and David Madden in seventh. Then it was Kurt Hunt, Jason Owens, Chauffeur Everett, Adam Securely, Lynn Tran, Dimitri Nella, apologies, Dimitri Kellner. David Smith was in 14th. Richard Ed just about finishing on the lead lap. One lap down was Seth Thomas and Tyler Hoffman. Massive unfortunate for Thomas, who ran out of internet, it seemed, with just a lap to go. Hoffman in 17th place, Swearingen in 18th. Apologies, it was Swearingen who ran out of internet, 2 laps down. And Daniel Vallejo finished 11th laps down in 19th. So Marco, I think we usually get interviews, don't we, with
Yes.
drivers. So far, no one with us. I think they're all a bit occupied. But next up, Road Atlanta, and I don't want to put any pressure on these drivers, but seeing that they are driving instructors at Road Atlanta, they ought to be pretty good around that place.
Yes, and the race that we saw in the first round of the season was absolutely, a clear indication of that because the drivers were absolutely spot on and perfect. I mean, I have to say that apart from we have seen some trouble in Barber and some trouble in Virginia, especially with the cold tires, but this race and the race at Road Atlanta to open the season, very little mistakes, great driving, great battles. So I'm expecting more of the same next time around. I don't know if they are going to run again the quote unquote full layout. I was about to say Grand Prix, the full layout, or if they're going to give us, the club surprise with the club layout, which is very unique, also because you get to use the other pit lane, the one on the left side, the one which I accidentally jumped in. On my first time, I think running on this racetrack in iRacing many years ago, or if they're going to use the short one, which is basically the full track without turn 5 and two right-handers, and you basically get to take the Texas road. In any case, it's been a championship that has jumped on board with us last minute, and we already had 4 races, and I'm going to be sad when it ends on Tuesday because these guys are really expressing the love for motorsport, and they found a perfect way to get a little bit of what they usually do in in real life with iRacing, and hopefully they will stick around. I now posted. They usually come for interviews. I posted. We still have some 7 minutes left to go in the broadcast, so I posted the link for interviews. So if you want to come for interviews, you are very welcome to join. Whilst we wait, just to go through a quick rundown of what's coming up on Apex Racing TV, and I tell you, it's going to be a Sunday full of excitement because it's already Sunday, of course. Um, we will start. Well, we already started technically. Again, this being already Sunday, but At 10:45 GMT, Aussie mixed and fixed round 4 from Spa-Francorchamps. You don't want to miss that. Of course, the ever popular Aussie mixed and fixed series will have their fourth round of this new series, full of drivers, massive split, fixed setup, GT cars,
Safety
impossible.
cars.
Safety cars, plenty of. I would imagine this being Spa. Not saying anything bad about the championship. It's that you know, it's Spa and it's GT, so I know that's what we can expect. Then later at 12 GMT, the FX Virtual Series live from Monza. That's going to be a new series here on Apex Racing TV. I'm very excited to bring this one to you. And then we'll go again at 16 GMT for the Adrenaline Karting Invitational. Last Sunday we had there was a little bit of an issue with their server setup. They were again same as these guys here from the DCRA. Some racing enthusiasts who jumped on iRacing to have the racing fixed. They had a little bit of an issue in setting up the server, so the race started a bit earlier than our uh, broadcast start time, and no one really know when it ended. But it was good fun with the MX-5s. That was at Laguna Seca. This time will be at Lime Rock and will be 1 hour race this time around. And then this will be our Sunday with Apex Racing GT being off. But on Monday, War GT will be back. That will be live from Monza as well on 7 GMT. And then later in the night at midnight 15 GMT, Ricmotech Sports Car Series will be back from Road America. And basically 1 hour later, so at 1:20 GMT, the big season finale of the DCRA Championship, again live from Road America, from Road Atlanta, of course. The bane of existence of us people in Europe is to I have two tracks who are both beautiful, both very different, but both in America, called Road America, Road Atlanta, and we have possibly an interview for us or for the other race we are broadcasting right now. It's always tricky when we have this situation, So,
Justin. I don't
Justin,
see Justin in this race.
I think it's for the other server then. We are currently broadcasting an endurance series, not on Apex, on another channel. So, Justin, if you are in the race, talk to us in the. There's also a lawnmower. I think it's for the other race because everyone is jumping in at the same time. We'll see if they get grabbed down below. But Sam, what was your impression of this series? I mean, I think this, as I was saying earlier, really represents club racing. Closely knit friends at its finest. Nice racing on the track and big fun afterwards. So I think it's a series that really puts a smile on your face. I don't know how to put it in other words.
Yeah, absolutely. It's finding the fun in sim racing in a very serious world as well of sim racing, where maybe we do care a little bit too much about results. When I'm sure everyone involved in today's race, all 19 drivers, probably had a lot of fun, even though he didn't get a terrific result. I'm sure they are very pleased to have taken part in this event, and yeah, we've still got to do it all over again. Hopefully, we see maybe the modified circuit being used next week. I mean, a circuit that we barely ever see. I mean, I would have to make another camera pack for it. That is the disadvantage of that. However, I'm sure it would still be a lot of fun for these for the drivers. Although the full layer, of course, is an absolute classic that these guys will enjoy as well.
Well, Sam, if I'm not mistaken, in the one of the last, I think in the penultimate week of the season, the Formula 3 fixed will race there. So if you want to get your fix of Road Atlanta Club, you can do that.
What series is that? Sorry.
The Formula 3 fixed, the 10-minute races with the F3 cars. the one that's going to be
Ah,
replaced by
okay.
the USF 2000 later down the line. But yeah, a bit sad that no one came. I wanted to introduce Sam to the drivers of this championship. Our clock is sadly ticking down. I was fantastic to be here, and I think that everyone that's watching, I mean, a massive round of applause, all Sebring International, to Sam Fitzpatrick for his bravery and his dedication, his commitment, and I think congratulations to whoever prepared the tea and put something in the tea that woke him up. Thank you, Sam, for jumping in and covering up for Austin.
No, it's been an absolute pleasure, and thanks to the Giants for putting on a great show for us to tune into, and thanks, Michael, as well for doing all the cameras as competently as you always do. Hopefully, all you viewers have enjoyed this stream. Please do leave a like on it. We mega appreciate whenever anyone can do that. And also subscribe to Apex Racing TV. Of course, Michael was going through earlier on some of the series that we've got coming up in the next week or so. There are so many, really so many, especially for all you Americans. I mean, there are so many more races that we're broadcasting on Apex Season 2, probably 3 or 4 times more than what we were doing just a month ago. So it's really time to subscribe to Apex Racing TV. We would mega appreciate that one. But for now, from me and from Marco, we're going to say goodbye, and we'll see you next time.